Hey, aloha, Mark J, World's Laziest Networker. We're on a lanai here today with the fourth installment of a little four-part series to help you have a strong life, not a strong 2016. You know, one of the things that we've talked about in this series is the 3 M's, which is mind, mechanism, and method, okay? Now the method of building your business is with the skills, and there's plenty of free ones right on this site. And we got a nice 3-part video series coming for you in about a month. The mechanism, that's your company, okay? That's the mechanism you're using, but it all begins here in the mind. It starts in the mind, and that's what this series is really about. We talked about desire. By the way, if you haven't seen these previous 3, I suggest you go back and check them out. And like I said in the previous blog, it doesn't matter how far off track you are, how discouraged you are, you're only 13 steps, the 13 steps to riches out of Think and Grow Rich. So the next step that we're going to talk about is imagination. This is a really big thing for people. Most of us haven't spent a lot of time in our imagination. Ooh, that's a heartbreaker. Imagination is everything. Einstein said it's more important than knowledge. You see, there is no wisdom in what you know. You already know what you know. The real wisdom in life is found in uncertainty and penetrating new worlds. So your imagination, you remember that this is the blueprint. In other words, this thought charged with feeling is going to create a belief, and this is known also as the seat of habit. Okay, so even though we can make some short-term temporary changes by focusing on the action box, we already know, if you've seen the previous blogs, and if you haven't, you got to see it, we already know this is a waste of time. So how do we create different thoughts and charge them with feeling? Well, it's pretty simple. You've got to spend 15 to 20 minutes a day in your imagination. And then you have to spend several seconds, several times a day inside your imagination. You know, one of the things that's on this goal statement, or this statement of purpose, is right here, the compound in Kalaheo. And I'm standing in the compound right now of Kalaheo. How did I do that? Well, what I did was I constantly imagined that clearer and clearer. You get a clearer mental picture. Now, let me give you the bad news. The bad news is 6 seconds. That's how long the average person can actually hold a thought. So you need to spend 15 to 20 minutes a day sitting absolutely still, imagining what you really want in more and more detail. Now your mind's going to drift here and there to the dry cleaners and this and that. Bring it back. Relax, bring it back. Relax, bring it back. Because your imagination, okay, is huge. What Hill discovered in Think and Grow Rich is that it's the only bridge. Here's my version of the Golden Gate Bridge. It's the only bridge to enthusiasm. Enthusiasm will build a massive business. And if you feel that when you're being enthusiastic, that it's sort of fake or false, I know what people's problem is. It isn't, I can't sound like Mark. He's like, I'm going to have 2 million by such, I have 2 million by such and such a date and this and that. I build this compound in Kalaheo. I don't feel enthusiastic like that. That's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. Okay. What it tells you is not about enthusiasm. What it tells you is a lack of time invested in the imagination. This is a critical step that you imagine, get a clear mental picture over and over again, and here's a great way to do it. Think of your favorite kitchen of a friend of yours or your own, or a coffee shop, Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts. You want to go in your mind and meet your friend there. Imagine what he's wearing, what his face looks like, or her face, what they have on, what's on the walls, whether it's cold or warm outside. And you want to tell them about your definiteness of purpose, that desire statement that you need to have, that definiteness of purpose, as if it already happened. And watch the expression on their face. Describe that adventure. Now you might be thinking, 15 minutes a day doing that? I don't have the time for doing that. If you don't have the time to do it right, when the hell do you think you'll have the time to do it over? Probably never. Isn't that true? So basically, imagination, right, is the thought. You want to charge it with feeling, which is why you want to think about your friend saying, wow, that's really cool. So go in, you sit down, hey Harry, how you doing? Hey Marky, how are you? That's what I do actually with my friend Doug. Yo Doug, sup dog? And he'd say, Mark. And I imagine the conversation starting because that's familiar, and then I tell him, this was back in 2008 in New England with snow on the ground. Tell him about how we were living in Hawaii and it was incredible, and the house we were living in and everything. And first he thought I was crazy, of course, but remember what Nietzsche said. Nietzsche said that people that are dancing look insane to people that can't hear the music. Where's the music? Right here. You've got to imagine this and how it would what? Feel, because if it's not charged with feeling, it doesn't become a belief. That will intuitively have you taking actions that you didn't even comprehend. And that brings us to then organized planning, which it's not a mistake. Hill coupled imagination with organized planning. Well, what's organized planning all about? Well, you have to have a specific plan, and I see all this craziness because about how to plan it out and paying people thousands of dollars for a plan. I'm going to give you a successful network marketing plan. It's really simple. This is organized planning, okay? Number one, date with every family member. Tell them why you're doing the business. Tell them why you're doing the business, okay? But say there's nothing more important than you. We're going to have a date every week. Could be a walk. Could be a game of catch with your son. So number one is date with your family. Number two, okay, and these are really sort of 1 and 1A, is creator. If you have a spiritual path that you're on, make sure you schedule these two things first. Number three is your business. And this is so simple because we're not running an 8-star, a 5-star luxury resort that has 800 rooms. We're not running a 400-seat restaurant or even a beauty shop with 8 or 10 operators. Our business isn't that complicated. How many hours are you working? Let's say 10. If you work in 10 hours, you want to spend 80% of your time on the main thing. The main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing, okay? Which is what? Contacting people that are not in the business about the business. So your imagination, right, is huge, and that has to be linked to organized planning because, as Edison said, a vision, your imagination, without execution is hallucination. Now, you can't execute if you don't have a plan. So 80% of your time, so 8 hours, and two things you need to know. If it isn't written, it isn't true. Okay, and the difference between knowing what to do and doing it is whether or not you schedule it. Schedule 8 hours, and you should be making a minimum of 15 calls. That's 120 dials a week. That's an organized plan. That's all you need. Family and creator first, then your business. 10-hour work week, 8 hours. Contacting people for yourself or people on the phone. That's 120, baby. That's 480. That's actually about 510 a month because there's 4 1/3 weeks in a month, and you're home. Peace be the journey. I want to show you one other thing that this all came down to that's really important. Okay. The 13 steps to riches were all designed to do one thing, and that was develop the habit of persistence. Persistence is not quitting. Don't give up. Don't give up. That's got nothing to do with persistence. The formula, which we've been over, is a DMP backed by a burning desire. Okay, so that's the first one. Desire, a burning desire. Okay, with a burn in it. I mean a capital B. That's a burning desire. So a DMP plus a positive mental attitude, and I'm going to show you how to get a real one, not the quotes that sound so cute, plus a written plan expressed in continuous action, okay? And we have that. That's your 8 hours a week if you work 80% of your time. Where does that continuous action comes? It comes from the burn. How did you build that? Through auto-suggestion, which we talked about before. And then the key that people overlook is a mastermind alliance. This equals success. So if you'd like to be in a mastermind alliance where we're going to go over each one of these nice and slow and give you a hands-on guide, get on that early notification list. We only take 100 people at a time and just twice a year, so don't miss that. A mastermind alliance, which is a friendly alliance with 2 or more people working in perfect harmony to keep you on track with plan and purpose. Okay, so grab this. It's the 7-day mental diet. It'll give you a positive mental attitude. You'll never have to work on it again. Make sure you opt in here and let me know how you feel about being in an authentic mastermind. Peace be the journey. See you in your own personal Kauai.